All right, let's try this again. All right, I think I'm live this time. So I came outside because I figure I do my live streams for Shabbat out here, and there's a decent signal. So I figure I'll just come out here and bake. I probably won't be able to do this for too long, y'all, because it's 100 degrees in the shade. And actually, hold on, I gotta take this off because when you start sweating, this starts like zapping you like an electric fence, which I just started sweating. So I've got my fan. I brought my fan out here. Not that it'll help much, but at least it'll move some air a little bit. Yeah, it's toasty. We're supposed to get a storm tonight. We'll see if that happens, and then the temperatures are supposed to drop for a little bit. But I forget what I was saying. Well, I've been working on a project. I will be doing a reveal of it in probably a week, I'd say. I've been keeping it a secret, not just from y'all, but also from Mr. Smith, because he's been on a business trip. I don't remember where my last video froze up, so I'm just going to kind of recap a little bit. He has been out of town on an extended business trip this time around, but he's about to return, so I'm busting my tail because I really wanted to get this done before he got back and surprise him. I don't know how much of the project I'll get done, but it'll be close. It'll be close. He comes home in just a couple of days, and I've still got a list of things to do. So there's one part I will need his help with. It's just one thing that I just can't do by myself because I'm not physically strong enough to do it. So he'll have to help me with that part. But I want him to walk in the door and go, wow, when he sees what I've been doing. So, yeah, it is. I don't even know I left my phone in the house. I don't even know what the feels like heat index temperature is. It's atrocious. It is so dry. Everything looks like a dust cloud everywhere. The garden is getting crunchy. I've been watering and all of that, but when it gets that hot, there's only so much you can do. And you can do shade cloths, but even they don't help when everything's this hot. Well, they help a little bit, but they can't always. They're not miracle workers. The project is a secret, but it's the reason I did a live stream today instead of a regular video is because I've just been working so hard on this. It's been taking all of my time and energy, and I've had to take some breaks here and there just because my pain levels have been so high the last few weeks. Now I can't even sleep normal. Like my whole life, a little personal information here, but my whole life I have always slept sort of on my stomach, but sort of on my side, with my arm under my head, under my pillow, like always. That's how I always sleep. And for the past week or so, or maybe 2 weeks now, I can't put my arms under my pillow, like either arm. They both, my shoulders hurt so bad. I don't know. Maybe it's just a progression of, the arthritis. I don't know. But yeah. Yeah, I like working on big projects when my husband's on business trips, because if I'm busy working on something, I don't have to worry about pausing and stopping to make dinner. We're basically empty nesters. Our house does have an attached apartment, and our son and daughter-in-law and grandbaby, or one of our granddaughters, live there. But they're, they have their own life. They have their own place. So when Mr. Smith is out of town, I honestly don't cook a whole lot. I'll just make simple things. I did throw some chicken in the slow cooker, just a really easy. It's not even a recipe. I just take some chicken, like some chicken breasts, throw them in the slow cooker with a jar of enchilada sauce, like red enchilada sauce, and then let that cook. And then in the last little bit, I throw in some like a block of cream cheese, maybe a little bit of cheddar, and eat that with some nacho. Like shred the chicken, eat it with some nacho chips. Like super, super easy. Um, I actually have, well, I got to get another one. I have magnesium um, tallow that I bought at Refuge Ruckus, the fundraiser event that I spoke at back in March, and I loved it. It's like a lavender nighttime magnesium rub, that you put on. And I'm so upset with myself. I dropped the jar and it shattered. And all of that beautiful tallow with the magnesium in it was like lost. So I need to get some more. But I got to remember the business that made that one, because I'd really like to get that one because I liked it so much. But I know that I'm sure they ship. I just have to remember who they are. Yeah. I'll have to reach out to the organizer of the event and ask her. Um, but I do use, like, I've been using arnica. I just recently started using that, and it does help. It's not like you know, I try not to take medications um, if I don't need to. So I'm not taking like Tylenol or Motrin or anything like that. But I try to use oils, and my oils help too. So I kind of alternate between the arnica gel and I'll use like past tens or deep relief, um, things like that. Rotating, rotating acres. Rotating acres. Yes, I think that's who that was. Rotating acres. Okay, I'm gonna have to remember that. I don't have my phone to make a note of it to myself. Yes, rotating acres. Rotating acres. Well, I can go back and look at the chat at this to remember. But thank you. Yes, I need to reach out to them. Um, oh goodness, Sheila, I couldn't move my right shoulder for weeks and was told frozen shoulder. Finally got it moving. Very painful. That sounds awful. I've heard of that. Um, I don't think I've ever experienced that. It could be the humidity with your pain. I've never thought of that. Interesting. Let's see. Yeah, the project is a surprise. I'll be revealing that in about a week or so. Magnesium um, can help like your muscles relax. It also helps your body sleep better. So like it's really good to use magnesium at night, or take magnesium, whichever, because you can do um, like a rub on, or um, I prefer to do a rub on. I put it on the bottoms of my feet. Yeah, see, I don't think I've ever heard that about humidity affecting joints. I know cold does. Well, I guess that makes sense because in the wintertime, the damp, I don't know why, I guess I never thought of that. The damp in the wintertime affects joints, so why wouldn't the dampness in the heat do that? Hmm. Yeah, and you can also do like Epsom salt, like soak your feet in Epsom salts because they're full of magnesium. Yeah, barometric pressure does affect me already. Like for years, I've had I get headaches from them. Like anytime there's a shift in the weather and there's a storm coming, I can usually tell there's a storm coming because I'll have a headache, and then I'll check the weather and go, oh, yep, it's supposed to storm tomorrow, and it's actually, the sky is like super blue over there. but it's cloudy on that side, so maybe we will get some rain today. I hope we do. We definitely need it. Comfrey. Oh, I've never thought of comfrey for arthritis. I use it for other things, like it's like I have a salve that has comfrey in it, and I use it for like bruises, bumps, and things like that. Um, I never thought of using that um, for arthritis. I'll have to give that a try. Yeah, natural calm magnesium. Yeah, I do take like my water that I drink. I always put electrolytes in it, and I use the Element. It's LMNT Element, and that has magnesium in it. And so I drink that like anytime I'm drinking water, I've got Element in it because it's got all the good things in there, and it also helps me drink more water because it tastes good. I especially like the watermelon one and the raspberry ones. Those taste delicious. Um, Shalom, Sheila. We had a little bit of technical difficulty at the beginning, but it looks like we're good now. Because now my Chromebook here is like, I don't know, 10 feet below the router. Our house, you if you saw the other stream or if you saw the Saturday stream, our house has character. It's a cabin basically inside, very rustic, and it has metal, like corrugated metal, like old tin roofing on some of the walls, like the living room wall on the side where the wood burning stove is. It has corrugated metal, um, and then it's got wood slats above that, and then in the dining room, the this eating area, there's a like outside my pantry. So between the living room and the kitchen, got the dining room and pantry. Well, the ceiling of the dining room is also corrugated metal, and it's cute. It's rustic. It's very cabin-ish. It blocks the Wi-Fi signal in our house, and it makes the Wi-Fi horrible. So like my computer that I work on that was in the shop last week, I actually have to hardwire it to the router, and so does my husband. Like his also has to be hardwired to the router because we cannot get a signal in our house. So it's always hit or miss with Wi-Fi um, when it comes to getting a signal in our house. So like even my phone, of course, we have no cell signal here in the mountains. Um, if we don't have Wi-Fi enabled calling or browsing, on the phone, then I can't use my phone. So we actually have a landline here in case of emergencies. Um, and in the instances where the internet's gone out or something like that, the only way to make a call or even send a text message is I have to come out here and I've got to go up the mountain. I've got to go. There's a couple like park benches in places like going up the mountain, and I have to go up to at least the first one, sometimes the second one up the mountain to get a signal to use my phone. So like we had a call one time and report the power was out. Is before we had a landline, and I had to go up the mountain to see if they knew the power was out, which they did. Yeah, share share can relate. Yep. Homegrown Herbalist has a playlist of herbs for various ailments. That sounds really familiar. Homegrown Herbalist. I think I've heard of them. Yeah, yeah. My husband, he was in the army 25 years. Jumped out of perfectly good airplanes for many years. He was actually injured on one of those jumps. He was a towed jumper, If you don't know what that is where when the airborne soldiers jump out of the aircraft and when they jump out, they have a tether that hooks up onto this line so that when they jump, it automatically pulls the cord for their parachute to come out. They don't have to physically pull anything; it just automatically does it. Well, there was this one evening when the weather was really rough. Like the winds were terrible. They should not have been training that night. The weather was so bad, but they did it anyways. And right as my husband went to go out of the plane, the wind caused the plane to lurch. And when that happened, the edge of the pack, they would actually have like a giant, heavy army backpack thing, Alice pack, I think it was, between their legs. And when they would go out, they would drop it and it would be hanging underneath them while they're hanging from the parachute going down. Well, it got caught on the edge of the door of the plane, and so he went out and was hung up by that, and it was beating him on the side of the plane. And most of the time, it doesn't happen. It's very rare for that to happen. Most of the time, when that happens, it's fatal. He was knocked unconscious. The jump master, who's in charge of like making sure everybody gets out of the door safely, saw it, was able to kick his pack loose. So he floated to the ground completely unconscious and hit the ground, went rolling, and has had a messed up neck ever since. So I can totally relate to the broken and beat up and chronically hurting Army vets because I live with one of those myself. Alrighty. Shalom, Michael. All right, so yes, I wanted to give an update about the dog because I had so many questions, and a lot of people were asking some of the same questions, and so I thought I would just hop on here and do like a quick update about him. If you missed my last video, we have a situation where somebody dumped a dog. Looks like a German Shepherd mix, most likely. Excuse me. Out here in our area, and he's been out here for at least a month that we're aware of. Very aggressive, very scared, which is why probably he's aggressive. And so I've been feeding him twice a day, morning and evening. When I feed all the animals, I started feeding him too. But the first time I stopped to give him some food, he came at me like Cujo, and I thought I was going to meet my maker that day. He came at me. Like the second he saw me, it was all teeth and snarls, and it was like, yeah, I had a moment there. But I took like 2 steps back, and then I was like, wait a minute. Like it all happens like slow motion, but super fast. You know what I mean? And so I put my hand out at him, and I just did like a firm. I did my like angry at the animal sound. Hold up. And he just kind of stopped and looked at me like, why did you tell me to stop? Hold on, kind of thing. And so I just kind of carefully reached. I had a bag of food, and I just reached into the bag and grabbed some food, and I just, without moving my body, just my hand, I just threw some of the food on the ground in front of him, and he was like, oh, food. And so then I was able to give him some more food and water while he was distracted with that. But then ever since then, he doesn't come at me anymore. He has actually licked my arm a couple times. Yesterday, he licked my hand, just briefly, like while I'm pouring the jug of water into the bowl. He'll walk up and he'll lick my hand or my arm. But if I dawdle too long or if I talk to him too much, he starts growling at me. And in the video, there were so many people saying, he wanted to get in the truck with you. You should have let him get in the truck with you. And I'm like, you couldn't hear him growling at me on the camera. He comes up to the truck, like, as I'm leaving, like he doesn't want me to leave. But if I talk to him too much, or if I look at him too much, it's a low growl. he's still not sure. But I'm just gonna keep working on him. Keep feeding him, keep talking to him. Spend a little bit of time out there when he'll let me, and things like that. And hopefully we can get him not so scared. I still got to reach out. I've been meaning to call this week to reach out to the German Shepherd rescue group to see if they can even do anything. But this morning, though, I went out to feed him like I usually do, and this is the first time he didn't come when I called him. He in the heat, he's got a spot over in the trees where he sleeps. When it's not hot, he sleeps right there between those two dumped sofas. I put a blanket out there for him. But when it's really hot, he sleeps in the tree line, and he always comes out as soon as he hears me calling, but he didn't come out this morning. So I don't know. I'll go out there this evening. Hopefully he'll come out there. If not, maybe, I don't know. Maybe he's moved on. I don't know. Yeah, his former people are jerks. Yeah. And you can tell, like, you can look at him and you can tell that he, up until not too long ago, he had a collar. You can see, like, where his fur, because, when a dog wears a collar all the time, how their fur gets, like, a wave in it. Oh, happy birthday, Michael. Belated happy birthday. So, yeah, I'll post a picture of him this evening if I see him again, and I'll let y'all know. I'll keep y'all updated with what happens with him. It really sucks. And, and I had somebody ask, can you lure him closer to your house? Like, get him to come closer. No, that's not even possible, because, again, if I look at him too long, or if I, talk to him too much, he, like, even yesterday evening, when I went out there to feed him, I'm pouring the jug of water into his bowl, and he licks my hand, and I'm talking to him, and I just kind of stood there for a minute, and, usually I'll just walk away, but I stood there for a minute talking to him, and he just started growling at me. He's just not there yet. So I don't see there to be any way to get him to come closer to our house. But honestly, where he's at right now, he's kind of got a little bit of a shelter. There's food and water for him all the time. And, there's actually at least 2 other people giving him food too. I discovered. I was pulling out one day, and right as I went to pull out, a guy pulled up. He goes, "Yeah, I'm feeding him too." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm coming out here twice a day." I don't want other people to feel like they need to feed him if I'm feeding him already.